And here we are back with Focus Delaware. Now, you're not probably likely to see a regatta on the Christina River or a flotilla of yachts floating down the Brandywine. But downstate on the Delaware Bay, light yachting is an extremely popular summer pastime. And just over the border in Maryland, as you approach Havre, and especially the communities along the Susquehanna River, especially along those towns along the Chesapeake Bay, sailing for many people is a way of life. A love of boats and the manpower it takes to steer them through the wind and the sail in all kinds of weather is really what makes the way of life along there. And I'd like to welcome two old salts, as it were, who share a love of sailing and a desire to see you also participate. And we have, first of all, the past and part-time bouncer of Oscars, Mr. Dave Wells. He's also the past Commodore of the Havre Yacht Club. Dave certainly looks like a sailor of old yore. Dave incidentally designed and built our magnificent set, which is behind us right now. And he's also one of the head honchos over at Exhibits East that designs sets like this for companies such as DuPont and other companies in the area. Now, joining Dave is Gary Pensell. Now, he's the general manager of Tidewater Marina, which provides, it's a full-service marina, providing many facilities to Delawareans throughout the state. And Dave would like to see you get involved with the sailing, and we'd like to invite you both to come more back to Delaware. And also, I'd like to thank you to come to the show. And I want to tell you, I appreciate you being here. We're going to have a special sailing segment tonight. But first of all, I want to know, Gary, what's the attraction in sailboating? What makes it interesting?
I think one of the biggest things is probably it can involve the whole family. Unlike so many sports and recreational fields, some of the family gets left out. In boating, there's a place for everyone. You can get as complex, you can be as athletic or as relaxed as you want. It's a wide variety of things. It's not just a single sport.
Mm-hmm. Why should Delawareans get involved? What do you have to offer to Delawareans? Is it close by we can come down to?
Well, certainly that's a big thing. The Chesapeake is probably one of the best cruising areas in the world. I've been to a number of places, and it's hard to find anything that's comparable with the Chesapeake. It's interesting, it's varied, it's a very safe place to boat. Mm-hmm. Being as close as Delaware is to the Chesapeake, it just seems a natural.
Mm-hmm. Now, where exactly is Tidewater Marina located?
We're right in the middle of Havre, right at the mouth of the Susquehanna River, so we're at the very tip-top of the bay.
Mm-hmm. Now, Tidewater also is involved with many boat shows, I understand.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. In fact, there's one coming up now. What's it called? The Annapolis Boat Show?
The Annapolis Boat Show. It's one of the biggest sailboat shows in the world. It's nothing but sailboats, hundreds of them, literally. Mm-hmm. We're going to have 10 to take down starting Sunday.
Now, it's an opportunity for Tidewater and other marinas to show their stuff, as it were.
Oh, yes. Virtually every sailing product, every boat, every gadget will be on display down there for the 4-day run of the show.
Now, you pride yourself in being a full-service marina. What does that mean? What services and products do you offer?
Well, we do just about everything except build boats. We can do any type of repair on them. We sell them. We have spaces to rent, slips to keep them in, winter storage, the full range of service. The only thing we don't do is build them.
Mm-hmm. Now, can you assist the inexperienced sailors such as myself in learning what to do and how to sail?
Well, we consider that part of our obligation when we sell a boat to make sure that people buy it and know a little bit about how to use it. So
they don't sink.
We don't have a sailing school per se, but each of our salespeople is obligated really to take people out and spend some time with them and teach them how to use their boat.
Now, the rear Commodore of the Havre Yacht Club is sitting next to you, and a few years ago I understand he was a raw sailor, as it were, didn't know a jib from a mainsail. Now, tell me, sir, what do you find what's the attraction to sailing?
Well, sailing is a sailboat is a recreational vehicle, which some people don't altogether see. Well, I do a lot of racing. I do some cruising also. And once you're out racing, it's you against the elements, trying to make the boat sail as fast as you can sail it at all times, thereby using all of your skills with the wind. In racing, it's like a three-dimensional, four-dimensional chess game. You're playing with the wind, and you're playing with other boats and trying to take their wind. It's pretty interesting in that fact, and anybody can do it. Half of our crew usually is women, or we take the younger kids along, and they all get into it. And everybody's pulling a rope or saying we should tack here or tack there, and plus it gets you off the highway. and it's a lot easier. You can go as fast in a sailboat as you can go all the time, almost always, which is about 3 miles an hour. A sailboat race is about 6 miles an hour. A sailboat race is kind of like watching grass grow, people have said. But it's pretty exciting, even in very light air. When there's no wind at all and you don't think you can move at all, well, the idea of a sailboat is to try to pick that little zephyr here and there and get yourself a little farther without turning the engine on and motoring around.
Well, there's a lot of history and heritage involved in sailing. I know flag signals and the such. You become imbued with that too, I suppose, when you get involved in sailing.
Well, in order to safely boat anywhere, it's like rules of the road out on the street. And there are flag signals and all kinds of traditional things that have grown up over the past centuries for keeping boats clear of each other colliding. My boat weighs 10,000 pounds. If you run into another boat with it, you put a big hole in it. And you could be out in the middle of the water and everybody sinks. So part of the tradition that goes along with sailing is just a time-honored way of keeping it safe for the other guy.
Now, does a club like the Havre Yacht Club promote these rules and teach its members what to do?
We attempt to. Sailing is safety in sailing is a very difficult thing to get across to people, and you just kind of say, well, you trick them into it a little bit by saying, well, it's going to do it safely. However, let's do it seamanly. You get into knot tying, and you get into the different flags for signaling the people to come out and get you in a slip. You put up certain off a mooring. You put up a certain flag, and somebody comes out and picks you up. And if you know how to do it, you can go to any yacht club in the world.
Now, Gary, I want to ask you about the Tidewater Marina is going to be involved in the Annapolis Boat Show, and Dave too. First, Dave, I'll ask you, what is your point of view as a sailor? What does this Annapolis Boat Show offer? And then, Gary, I want to ask you from a merchant what it offers.
The Annapolis Boat Show has every boat that you'd ever want to see, and if you're contemplating going from a smaller boat to a larger boat, you can go down there and get a good look at everything that's available. All the new models, all the new gadgets, all the new things, and you can make the deals right there. For getting a boat. You can get a pretty good deal on a boat at the boat show right off the floor or right out of the water at the boat show.
And Gary, from a merchant's point of view, what do you see the Annapolis Boat Show as being?
Well, we actually go there to sell boats. That's our purpose for being there. And it gives us an opportunity to be shoulder to shoulder with our competition, have our buyers or potential buyers make spot comparisons. In many cases, we'll sell boats right during the show. Sailboats aren't like automobiles that you can get them fairly readily. Some of these boats take 6 or 8 months, so a lot of the buyers realize that if they want a boat for next summer, they have to start thinking about it now. And
the Annapolis Boat Show is October 14th and 15th next weekend?
It's Thursday through Sunday with a special Buyer's Day Monday.
Very good. Well, I hope to see you all there at the Annapolis Boat Show. I'm going to be coming down, Gary. Thanks for the invitation.
Fine, we'll sell you a boat.
Okay, well, I'll have to check my pocketbook out first. I know my brother-in-law is interested. I know he's going to be coming down, too. Now, later on, we're going to be seeing a very special segment on our show called Sailing, where we at the crew, Focus Delaware, went down, guests of Gary Pensell, to be involved in Annapolis, in the whole area along the Chesapeake to do some sailing, and you're going to see that later on the show. It's a very special production.